And welcome back, YouTube. This is Boosterbox Buster here with another video. Today we're going to be doing a full review of the video game Hunter's Legacy Purrfect Edition for the Nintendo Switch. Developed and published by the same company, that company being Lienzo, spelled L-I-E-N-Z-O, Hunter's Legacy is a 2D action platformer in the style of a Metroidvania type game. In this game, you get to take control of the main character, who's Ikki, an anthropomorphic cat, who is a huntress and a user of the dual blade technique. Now, one day, Ikki happens to be on an adventure, and just so happens to stumble upon the town of Purrfect. Typically, Purrfect is a very nice place to visit, and always friendly. However, shortly before Ikki arrives, an evil force stole a priceless artifact. An artifact that brought peace to Purrfect and its surrounding inhabitants. Without that artifact, the inhabitants around the city of Purrfect are in an uprising and want to destroy the city. With all that explained to Ikki, the town asks of Ikki to recover the lost artifact and bring peace back to the city of Purrfect and its surrounding inhabitants. Of course, Ikki not being one to turn down a challenge, accept the quest, and that's how the beginning of Hunter's Legacy starts. So with that out of the way, I'm going to explain to you a couple of things. The city, or town, of Purrfect is basically the hub world of the game. This is where you get all your upgrades. This is where you get to talk to the majority of the NPCs throughout the game. And this is also where you get to get your map and unlock more areas to continue further into the game. With this being your hub world, the rest of the game kind of breaks down into about 5 categories. You have the prologue, which is kind of a rolling grassland, kind of like a hilly grassland type area. You have a forest, which is full of woodland type enemies. You have an icy, fiery volcano, which is one of my favorite places in the game to visit. You have the floating tectonic plates, which are basically a sky temple. And you have the final level, which is essentially Ganondorf's castle. Now, this game does use essentially a heart system, which you can see along the left side of the screen. And eerily enough, when you get down to 2 hearts or less, the game kind of gives you like that warning beep sound, which is very reminiscent of the Legend of Zelda franchise. You also get a bow and arrow, which you can even get a magical fiery upgrade for. A dash, which you can dash in mid-air later on, or when you start the game you can dash just on the ground. And you even get a little bird companion, which seems like it's very tacked on. You use it very few times, but it is a game mechanic nonetheless. So some of the things I do want to mention, some things I really like about this game. The graphics are really cool. I absolutely love the character designs. All the characters being cat people. Very, very nice, because I do like cats, so if you're not a cat person, this might not be for you. And my favorite area of the game, which I do want to share with you, is by far the Fire and Ice Temple. I really, really love this area. It's just really cool. The backgrounds in this game are just look amazing. I do really love it. It's kind of weird having the like background and foreground. The foreground move, the background be static. It's a bit weird, but it's more of a throwback to those like 2D hand-painted games of old, and I love that style. The enemy design is pretty cool too. It is kind of hard to tell what some enemies are. I think some enemies are not supposed to really be describable, which is fine. And this thing right here is probably the most annoying and yet effective enemy of the game. You don't see it, especially in the forest and grassland area, you don't see it coming, you just think it's just random. You just walk and then, oh, you get trapped in by him. He doesn't hurt you at all. However, he traps you so other enemies can hurt you. So I kind of like that design. The controls of the game work pretty well for the most part. I didn't have too many control issues. It's kind of funny, you can kind of glitch the game sometimes when Ikki is hanging off of a breakable object like this. If you break it and hang on right as you break it, you can actually hang in midair, which is kind of a cool little feature. A little exploit of the game, I guess I should say. Difficulty of the game is actually fairly easy. The game itself, you probably won't die too much, with the exception of a few puzzles here and there and a couple extra areas. With the exception of the final boss. The final boss, the difficulty all of a sudden ramps up tenfold. I don't know why some of these games do that, but the final boss is a final boss caliber. He is tough. A little bit easier once you know what to do, but still takes a little while to figure out exactly what you need to do. The music is pretty good for the most part. It's not bad, but it's not great, so it gets a pretty good pass. It feels right for what it is. You know, it actually fits the tone of the game very well. So I do like that. Some of the issues I do have with the game does not have enough variety. When you play a Metroidvania, when you play, just for instance, let's go with the big dog, Symphony of the Night. You have many different environments you explore. Yes, it's all inside of a castle, but you have the laboratory, you have the crypt, you have the sky temple, you have the foyer. There's like many different areas, and it's broken up into little tiny rooms. This one, it's one consecutive large level with just a couple of breakups and a couple of different rooms to explore. And the beginning of the game is very, very slow and samey, because you go from a grassland, slightly wooded area to a forest area back to back, and it's very draining, I should say. And there's a lot of puzzles that involve these guys in the forest area, which just kind of slow down the game quite a bit. I understand it's puzzle, but it just feels like I just kind of want to... It's like, come on, I want to get going, I want to play the game, you know, I want to explore it. Which is kind of a shame to say, because the game is fun. It feels like it's a very slow start, and then once you hit the Fire and Ice Temple, it really picks up. The floating plates, a little bit of a step back, but still very good, and then the final level is very awesome. Now, there is also another issue with this game, and this is a note to anybody who wants to do a Let's Play or stream of this game of their own in the future. The Willow Forest music, anything in the Willow Forest, is copyright protected for its music. I actually got a copyright claim on one of my videos, so please note Willow Forest music is copyright. Do not include the Willow Forest music in any Let's Play or stream of the game of your own. Please keep that in mind. Another thing, Ikki doesn't unlock any additional type of sword moves. It's all very basic, so I was kind of disappointed with that. I was really hoping that she would have some sort of extended combo. You know, I'm not looking for Super Flash, but I'm looking for at least a little bit of an extra, outside of the 1, 2, 3, 4 type thing. Instead of 1, 2, 3, 4. I kind of wish that she had flashier moves, just something extra that you could spend extra gems on to unlock, or go to some sort of, like, teacher to teach you more moves, that type of thing, I do wish that existed. Another thing to note, remember when I said that the town of Purrfect contains most of the upgrades in the game? There's a hidden character who will upgrade 2 items for you at a price. One thing she'll upgrade is your wallet. She'll upgrade it twice, and another thing she'll upgrade is your quiver twice to carry more arrows. I found the wallet by accident very easily, but I could never find the quiver. I have no idea where the quiver upgrade is located at, so I could not find it either upgrade, so I was a bit disappointed by that. I know I could probably look it up online, but when I play these type of games, I like to try to find everything for myself, and I just could not find it. So I was a bit disappointed, but that's my own fault. So not on the game. And an easy way to kind of find her is she always hides in tall grass, and the grass will rustle when you're not through it, and you'll see a little bit of some movement, and that's how you know that she's there. So that's kind of a nice little thing, but there's a lot of hidden grass that's out of the way, so she could be almost anywhere in like one of the side rooms. So that's kind of my thoughts on the game. My biggest issue is there's just not enough variety. It feels very samey, especially at the beginning of the game. Once you hit my favorite area is definitely the fire ice level and the last castle of the game. Those ones felt like the most imaginative work went into. I like the bird, but the bird feels like a tack on. It feels like it was kind of added at the last minute because they're like, well, we need something else. Well, we could add a bird, okay. That type of thing, And I wish that there was more variety of moves too. I wish that she could, like maybe do larger combos, learn special, like if you hold up on the attack pad or down, that she could learn some sort of like cool, I don't know, like arcing fire attack or something. That'd be kind of cool. And I think that's about all I really want to mention about the game. Yeah. It's good. The graphics are great. I love the character and enemy design. Music's fine. Controls are pretty spot on. Didn't have much issue with the controls. And the difficulty spike is, for the most part, fairly easy. A couple of difficult side areas and a very large spike in the final boss. With all that said, I think I'm going to call that a review. My final score for the game is a 6.5. It's very fun, but feels very lack of variety. The parts that were good were very good. The parts that weren't... the forest area in particular, toward the end of it, I felt like it dragged on for way too long, and I wanted just something else. I was very disappointed by the bosses, too. One boss I literally beat without taking 1 point of damage. Another boss, I tanked, and I was fine. It didn't punish me. So yeah, it was. I wish that it just had more variety, and some of the areas felt like they dragged on a bit too long without some sort of change to it. That's my biggest gripe with this game. With all that said, a 6.5 is the final verdict. This has been Booster Box Buster with a full review of Huntress Legacy on the Nintendo Switch. Signing out.